Every ballot tells a story, but across America, thousands are being stamped rejected, not because of fraud, but because of paperwork. The SAVE Act promises to protect our elections. Let's look at what it actually protects and who it leaves behind. Here's the thing. Our elections are already secured. Federal law makes non-citizen voting a felony. Every registration is actively verified against citizenship records, and the penalties, prison time, deportation, are severe. 3 pillars already hold this system up. So what problem is the SAVE Act really solving? Non-citizen voting cases are vanishingly rare, a handful out of hundreds of millions of ballots cast. But here's the disproportion. Millions of American citizens don't have easy access to documents proving their citizenship. A rare problem is being used to justify a massive new burden on real, eligible voters. Think of the electorate as water flowing through a funnel. Income and access squeeze out lower-wage workers who can't take time off to gather documents. Gender and marriage squeeze out those whose legal names don't match their birth certificates. Identity and geography squeeze out rural and marginalized communities. Each barrier narrows who gets to vote. Consider a woman who changed her name when she got married. To re-register, she now has to navigate a tangled 4-step maze of paperwork. Marriage certificates, court documents, updated IDs, just to prove she's still herself. It's confusing, costly, and it's happening to millions. Under the current NVRA, registering to vote is simple. A form, a signature, an honest attestation. The SAVE Act throws that out. It demands documentary proof of citizenship in person, shifts the burden onto the voter, and adds real financial costs, replacing a simple system with an analog obstacle course. The SAVE Act also leans on the DHS SAVE database to check citizenship status. But that database has a track record of errors, and there are documented cases of eligible U.S. citizens being illegally purged from voter rolls because of a database mismatch. The people removed often don't find out until it's too late. And it's not just voters who bear the risk. Local election clerks, the people running polling places in your town, now face severe personal liability under the Act. Certify a voter and risk prosecution if the database was wrong. Reject a voter and risk a lawsuit. Either path can end a career. This isn't happening in isolation. The SAVE Act is the first step. Watch how the language evolves, from the SAVE Act to the Save America Act to the proposed Mega Act, each one expanding documentation requirements into broader and broader restrictions on who gets to vote. Zoom out and 3 outcomes emerge, each one a beam holding up the same structure. Barriers that suppress turnout, liability that intimidates local officials, and errors that quietly purge citizens from the rolls. Together, they don't protect elections. They centralize control over who gets to participate in them. The SAVE Act is sold as a fix for a crisis that barely exists. But look closely, and it starts to look like something else. A deliberate crisis, engineered to wrap democracy in red tape. The real question isn't whether our elections need saving. It's who gets to decide who votes.